this rig, you will need a pair of scissors, hook bead, some stiff material fluorocarbon. I'm using the quarter boom for this. A size 8 ring swivel. A size 6 barbless spinner hook. A PFTE coated spinner swivel. Some crimps. A bait screw. And a medium kicker. And a pair of crimps. So to start, take roughly 7 inches of the boom material. 7 to 8 inches of boom material is my ideal length. So next up, you want a crimp. Just one crimp. So out of your pot, and you have 2 barrels on a crimp. With your boom material, you put the end of the boom through one of the barrels. Then you get your size 8 ring swivel and you put that through as well. Then you double over the boom material and put it in the other barrel, creating almost a loop like this. Now get your crimp tool, and on the large component, which I'm using large crimps, if you look on the side inside, you can't see it on the camera, it will say L or S. And then line it up directly in the large one, so it'll be facing at you, sort of like the 2 barrel eyes will be facing upward. Give it a squeeze and you should feel a little click. I don't know if you heard that. Give it a super strong squeeze, and basically what that has done, that's called a crimp. And that, crimp that line down really tight. Now obviously you got your length, and then where you've crimped, there'll be a little short tag end, as we like to call it. Trim that down to make the rig look a little bit neater. And there you go, you got your ring swivel on. Now at the other end of your boom, you're going to do the same process as the first step. I just need to cut the end of mine because it's a little bit jagged. Make it nice and smooth. You're going to complete the same process, but you're going to thread on your PTFE spinner swivel, which has had the ones with the little hooks at the end. This is where we'll be mounting our hook. So you double it over, push through, slide down for a smallish loop. I say do not try to use much of the boom, as this stuff is quite expensive. So slide it down and sort of, gotta make you understand, gonna give you up, I'm gonna let you. Smallish loop, and repeat the same process as the first one. Like I said, crimp down your crimp. Oh, I just dropped my hook. Let me get that real quick. And basically, if the crimp ever slips or just goes a little crimp, re-crimp it with a new crimp, because what that means, it should never slip at all, because crimps are rather strong. Trim the tag end, and there you go, we got our section of boom right there. Now get your size 6 spinner hook, and where it's got that little hooky thing on the end of the PTFE swivel, you're going to hook it on. Now you're going to have basically you're going to have the sort of U shape in the thing, and you're going to have the back of the eye hook going onto that, not the front eye. I used to make that mistake and it wouldn't work, so it looks sort of like this. Now you're going to get your medium kicker, and you're going to thread it, because there's 2 ends. There's a bigger hole end, there's a smaller hole end. You're going to go big to small hole with the angle in the crimp facing towards the eye of the hook. And if you slide it through, it sometimes can pierce through like that. You do not want that, else it will not work. so it sort of slips on like that. Now pull that, and it's a bit tight this bit, and you're going to push it over the PTFE ring swivel. Now, for some reason I've always had trouble where you got to push it quite hard, even though some people make it look really easy. And it should be covering up that hook, and that means that hook cannot now move off of there, so you won't lose it, as in the obvious. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our bait screw. Now there's many types of bait screws out there, but you got your screw. These ones I've got, you have a screw, then you got a micro ring swivel, and you're going to do a top swivel of that micro ring swivel. Sorry if you have different bait screws, but you will find it out. So you want that bait screw facing downward. Now you're going to pick a hook bead off the little pack, Jin. Now this is where it can get pretty fiddly. You won't be able to see this, but the hook bead is shaped like, I say, it's like an ice cream cone upside down. You want to do, there's a little mini hole in the thing, you won't be able to see it, in the hook bead, and you're going to go from the thick end to the thin end. Now this is really fiddly for me personally, and if I'm able to zoom it in later, I will. The easiest way I find doing it is having the hook upside down. Oh my gosh, I'm dropping it. And yes, it can be very fiddly. But once it's through, it should slide it round the hook and in line with the wafter presentation just below. So you got your hook like that, just below the point of the hook, so it sort of sits like that. Now, technically that is the finished rig. However, you might find that your fluorocarbon is all bent and wobbled. Now, the next bit is quite dangerous, so I'll take you there. Right, so now what we want to do, we have our finished rig. Let me just get that out of the way. We got our finished rig, and now with our kettle, make sure it's got a bit of water in. So let me just do that. Make sure it's only a little bit of water so it can boil quicker, but not them. And we're going to boil our kettle, and you're going to hold, sorry it's for the noise, you're going to hold this ring swivel, and you're going to hold the bottom of the hook. And what you're going to do is you're going to wait for the kettle to boil, and then you're going to hold it like this and go along the ridges of the kettle. I'll show you what to do after. So let that boil. It shouldn't take 2 seconds. Okay, so you just think about it, never do that, right? Now, I know it's not warmed up yet, but never do that. See, it can make severe burns on your hand. Now what you're going to do, hold your swivel, hold your hook, and you're just going to put it over the kettle and go back and forward. Try not to get your hands in the way, because it will burn your hand. It can be bad. And then run it back and forward, and then once you think it's done, hold it and pull it tight, and leave it to get to the cold air. And give it a little swipe around so it cools down quicker, then let go. And what that ultimately does, if you can see the rig here, is when that folds, that will actually spring out. And when that falls through the water, it won't land in a big heap like that. It will actually land, and I can drop this ultimate times. And as you can see, it will land in sort of near a straight bow. And that's what you want to reduce tangles and hope to get a bigger fish. I hope the chances of fish are improved. So this is my workbench, just so you know, and I'll see you in 1 second. Well, that, guys, is the finished rig. There it is. Now, what do you do with these rigs? If you are a new fisherman, you want something called a rig safe. Now, a rig safe is basically, put my camera here, a box like this. Now you can open it up. You can get many different types. I have the quarter one. And inside there, you have all your rigs ready. So hold it by there, and I'll do it like that. Right, there you go. And once you've done that, you get one of the green pins, which I keep in here, and you pin down that swivel. And what that does is it just holds your rig until you're ready to go next session, so you don't have to worry about hook being transported everywhere. And it just keeps everything neat, because when you go fishing, you're not just going to have one rig ready at the go. You want many rigs ready to go. So say you snap up, or your hook goes blunt from all the fish you're catching, which you're hopefully catching. Basically what it does, it just allows you to get one out of the box, instead of wasting time at the bank tying a whole new one up, and ready to go. So that is how you tie the spinner rig. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you next video.